Thank you so much for sitting with me today and having a discussion about LifeShip DNA and a coming launch in October. Obviously, I've asked you a million times if we know exactly what date, and we don't know what day yet, right? It's still October of 2024.
Right. Thanks for having me, Cheryl. Yeah, I think they'll announce the date like within a month or two before the launch. So, yeah, we don't have a specific date yet, but this is planned for a launch on a SpaceX rocket with a Firefly moon lander.
Can you give me a little background of how you got here? Because it's really quite
Yeah.
a great initiative.
So LifeShip's long vision is to spread life to the stars and continue the story of humanity and continue the story of life from Earth. The first missions we're doing, which are let's save a copy of all of Earth for our grandkids and for future generations. And humans have built seed banks for thousands of years. So there's these backup copies of plant seeds around the Earth, but there's no cohesive copy of all of life from Earth. And if you want to save something and you really want to back it up well, then you want to save a copy somewhere else. So our first missions are these DNA seed banks and cultural archives on the moon, and then we'll send them to Mars and across space as well. But yeah, our first set of missions for LifeShip is to save archives of Earth. And so this is both DNA of plants and animals and DNA of humanity, as well as art and stories and photos and all different cultural collections. Yeah, collections of knowledge. And then we partner with different groups who use us as a time capsule as a service, where we include we're a platform where we include different content from other partners, and we archive it and put it on the moon.
From a scientific standpoint, can I ask a little bit more about the synthetic amber coated with aluminum process for our audience?
So this is how we preserve the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And so DNA we extract out of the cells of whether it's a plant or an animal or a human. We extract the DNA out of the cells, and then we get this concentrated amount of DNA, and then we preserve that onto this piece of fibrous membrane, which is made for long-term DNA storage.
Mm-hmm.
And then we preserve that inside of a polymer, and then the polymer goes in between stacks of metal, which are the metal have data on them and micro pictures that you can zoom in on, and that's how we do the art to these, and books and quotes and people's photos and stories. And so those all get etched into the metal, and the metal sandwiches these layers of the DNA inside a polymer.
And protects it from cosmic radiation?
They do. That all goes inside, it gets made into the capsule. We're still finalizing the outer shell of the capsule and what that looks like. And then this all goes on the lander so that the lander provides additional cosmic radiation protection. So all the cosmic rays, once it's on the moon, come from outside the moon. And so if it's underneath a plate, then the plate blocks most of the radiation. And so our capsule has thin layers of metal, but really most of the metal that protects this from the radiation is from the lander itself and how we position it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when do you anticipate finishing up the collection process and getting your treasure loaded on board?
We're planning on delivering this in July, so we're kind of in a crunch on getting it all finalized now and assembled, and a lot of the layers are all here, and finalizing the methods of how we're actually insulating it all and the final size and the final dimensions, and then we deliver it to the lander, to Firefly, in July. We have to make two of them. One is the dummy one, which won't actually have DNA in it, and that one gets shock and vibration tested,
Sure.
and to make sure the way that it gets mounted to the lander will survive the trip. They'll mount the actual one to the lander, and then that goes through environmental testing, and then is planned for launch in October. So DNA on Earth, I think humans have found DNA over 1 million years old. I think 2 million years old is the record. Regularly, they find woolly mammoth or Neanderthal DNA that's tens of thousands of years old. And so we believe this should be, and we've done some estimates that say it should be recoverable for about 10,000 years or so. And the amount of sample that we get from each person or from each animal or plant has tens of thousands of copies of their DNA in it. And so even if some of these get broken up or hit by a cosmic ray and there's still other fragments that's widely known science of how to like piece them together. And so when you have 10,000 of them, they're not all getting broken at the same point. So even if each of them gets broken in half, they all get broken in half different places, and you have overlaps that then allow you to piece the whole thing back together.
Yes, and especially in 10,000 years, that's probably going to be possible. If we're still around and we're still cooking with gas as a species, then that's likely going to be very possible.
Scientists can go up to the permafrost and do a sample of permafrost and then pull out thousands of species of DNA from extinct species. And
aren't they concerned because the polar caps are melting and releasing bacteria species and viruses that have been dormant in the ice for tens of thousands of years?
Correct. There can even be living species that are in there for sure. Yeah.
And so the other thing was, are you making 2 copies just in case? And of course, we're all hoping for everything to go beautifully and smoothly, but I'm presuming that you have a backup plan.
We do. For the DNA, we have enough to for several copies of these, and we save that until we get it to the moon. And so it might take a few chances. Like there's been a few. Right. It's still hard to get to the moon, but it's opening up, and there's several different private commercial moon landing companies that are building landers. Several of these have tried. A few have crashed into the moon or not made it. One successfully landed on the moon.
Well, and even Odysseus on its side, for the purposes of LifeShip DNA, that's still a successful mission, right? As long
as it has a somewhat soft landing, then it should be intact and it should be recoverable. But yeah, we're on several more missions into the future, and we're on one with Astrobotic that made it the distance of the moon, but had a fuel leak and wasn't able to land on the moon. So it came back and burned up in the atmosphere. And we've been on 2 up to the International Space Station. And really how I look at this is we're on a journey, and we plan on going to Mars someday. We plan on going to the moon. We plan on going to the moon like every year. And
that's awesome.
It's getting more and more. These landers are going to start being able to deliver stuff to the moon. And so whether it happens this year or next year, it's going to start happening. And yeah, we don't see it as a one-time journey. We're here to go to the stars. We're here to take step by step and do more and more missions. And people on board have got disappointed when theirs didn't get to the moon. And really, this is a journey we're talking about.
I mean, if for example, something catastrophic happened, you would just load it all up on the next one, right? Take the next drive.
Yeah. And we're talking about
everything.
We're talking about backing up Earth and saving copies for tens of thousands of years or millions of years, whether it happens this year or next year. We will get all this stuff to the moon. We have several chances, and these landers have to figure out their early design errors and how to make them all reliable. But there's going to be reliable delivery to the moon, and we'll be sending increasing stuff on it.
Part of that
plan. And we want people who join the mission to be excited about all that. And if it crashes, that's part of the fun in a way. It's like, oh, but don't worry, we'll go again on the next one. And yeah, it's still a journey.
Absolutely. And a magnificent one. There's been some talk about a launch party. Can you give us any information about that?
Yeah, we're just planning on a virtual launch party. We're not planning on an in-person one. It depends. I have to host a virtual party because most of the people are going to be virtually there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
so whether doing that in person or from here makes sense, we'll see.
Okay. So people who have sent their DNA aren't invited to a physical party in Cape Canaveral. They're invited to the virtual party.
Correct. There are plenty of public launching places and plenty of good places to watch
Yeah,
it
we know
from.
that
So
it's what is it? Block 5 is the pad, right? And aren't there website information about where to see it from there,
yeah,
or you see it
yeah,
from the Kennedy Space Center itself?
correct. And there's different good spots to watch.
I was very impressed when I looked at the LifeShip website recently, looking at the variety of things that can be sent to the moon. Probably, it sounds like through relationships with your partners. Sending a book, sending a song, sending your photo, sending your pet's DNA, sending your family's DNA, and and have an ability to leave a legacy in that time capsule for who knows how many future generations it'll be.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I just wanted to emphasize how I really enjoyed the wide variety of things you have. I encourage everybody to go and visit LifeShip.com. For Asgardians who are interested, there is a discount code available for LifeShip DNA. Please enter the code Asgardia on checkout, and you'll get 10% off.
We're excited about doing this with Asgardia and having. We're excited about Asgardia's mission, and it's awesome to have a bunch of Asgardians on board.
Yeah, it's meaningful to us too. So we're really looking forward to it. Well, really appreciate you and your mission, and we appreciate also being included in, again, because Asgardia is a lot about cultural things, not only the development of space science and our space-based objectives, but also the evolution of humankind.
Space is something that unites us. Space is something that helps us dream bigger, and it connects us with the cosmos, the universe, who we are, why we're here, where we come from, where we're going. We're in space now. Like it's space is an opportunity to imagine, to dream a better future, a bright future for humanity, a bright future for life in the universe, and believe that's the story we're living, is the story of humans remembering our connection with nature, remembering our connection with the universe, uniting around beautiful futures. And I think space provides a seed of opportunity and that seed of where we're going. And LifeShip is one of many organizations that are imagining a bright future in space. And with LifeShip, it really is a way for anyone to actually be part of space missions. And this like seed of hope, and people can put their hopes, their dreams, their wishes, their DNA, their stories, their photos. You can do custom art and put art on board, and so really we're this seed of hope, and seed that could be used to create a new world someday out amongst the stars. And so I believe it's a beautiful vision and a mission that people can unite around. And really, like, I think that a future where humanity goes on to be a galactic species, and a future where humanity goes on to leave a legacy of rippling life across the galaxy, and the story of humanity gets remembered, and we don't just burn out with the sun one day and disappear. Like, I think that's a beautiful, uniting, big picture vision for our species, and the legacy of our species, and the legacy of our planet. And so that's what we're dreaming up and taking small steps towards, and making it participatory and accessible for anyone to be part of.
Fantastic. I think about also the aspect of leaving a real history, meaning a history of real people from this age that people can learn about sometime in the future, not any differently than we look back thousands of years and learn from those cultures. It is also uplifting from that point of view. Anyway, thank you very much, Ben. I really appreciate your time today and your mission, and wish us all every bit of luck for the launch in October. Look forward to meeting you, if not at Cape Canaveral this time, at some other event, some other place.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, and excited about what you're doing and what you're up to, and yeah, wishing you a beautiful journey on this.
Thank you very much.